That was Better off of Estelle's new album, Lovers Rock, out now.
Yay!
Welcome back to the show, Estelle.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for always coming through anytime we call.
Thank you, man, of course.
And thank you for making this album.
Oh, thanks for liking it.
And
thank you, Fest. Thank you, Fest.
No, thank you.
No.
And we're glad that it's finally out, because the last time you were here was what turned out to be the start of the process. I thought it was further into the process, but you were here with Taurus Riley when Love Like Ours came out.
Yeah, started the whole like just putting up the records and letting people know it was coming. But this is like a about 3-4 years in the making. You know what I mean? I'm just hyped that it's out.
So at that point, you were pretty far into, like, you guys on the internal side were pretty far into the process.
We were pretty much done, but like we had like, to me, I had like one more record to go, you know? So I was like, all right, let them have this one and let's get it going and let's keep moving, let people know that we coming. So it's not completely out the blue, you know? And you know, and so I went and found this record, Better. And
so Better
was the very last record.
Better wasn't done at that time.
Well, it was done, it just wasn't finished to me. So
got it. Yeah. You're one of those.
Yes.
Keep. Oh, let's mix it. Oh, let's try something different.
Yo, that snare ain't. No, turn that back up. We ain't done yet.
Oh man, I can see Walter going, yeah.
He's just as bad too. Like my team is just as bad, bro. Like,
but it's good. You have a tight team, so everyone, no one's gonna send anything out there.
Nah, that's terrible.
Yeah, no. All the ears are there. All of the
on 100. On 100.
So
you know?
So Better is a super interesting record because it's got really kind of fluently combines a lot of different sounds. It's got a real R&B feel.
Yeah.
It's got a real dance hall feel that kicks in, and it's got an Afrobeat feel.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't all hit you the minute the song drops.
Exactly. I had people talking about, yo, put that reggae bit at the top of the record. I'm just like, man, if you don't, I didn't ask you for your, first of all, I have great, you know, like,
okay.
Literally my responses with people like, if you don't, look, shut up, you know, I didn't ask you none of that. But like, to me, it's just like it's an amalgamation of everything I am as an artist. Like it's different vibes, but it all comes from a good bass line and a good drum, you know. That's it.
And also the confidence to make a record like that where, I mean, look, I'm one of those people as a DJ, my natural inclination is to be like,
where to be
give me, just be like, give me everything right at the front of it. Because, you know, one, as a DJ, I tend to mix through a lot of records. And just the way people listen to music now is not as much designed for, you don't listen to side A of the album and then flip it over and listen to side B. So the temptation is there
just to skip it to the point,
to make it a little more fast food and just like get to the point quicker.
But to me, this album's not fast food, man. It's a real dinner. I always say that when I come with my music, you're gonna wait, you're gonna get it, and when you have it, it's gonna be 3-4 years, and you're gonna listen to it. Even if I put something else up in the next year, you're going to still be living with this one. You know what I mean? Because I just want legacy. I want to be here 5, 10, 15 years from now. I want to be able to say yes, like I can now with Steven Universe kids. I used to listen, my mom used to listen to your records. Now I listen to your records, and now I'm into your new song Better. And like my mom used to play me American Boy. You know, I want that kind of legacy. And I want to make something that's great.
Where it goes from grandparents to the parents to the kids.
You know, I'm young enough to do it. You know?
Easily. We got plenty of time. There's no rush.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm not going to jump ahead to this yet, but you just brought up Steven Universe. And that was something that we didn't talk about the last time. And we haven't even talked about off mic. And I've only let me just save it. I'll save this for the next break because there's a whole the whole rest
thing?
of I want to make sure we talk about the album properly and let people know what's coming.
Okay.
But really, I'm here to talk to you about Steven Universe and find out about that now.
Okay. No spoilers. All right, go on.
Because I'm new to it.
All right.
But no. But so when it came to the album, who produced that?
Oh my goodness, this was produced by Harmony. He's also from London, who's like a producer that I've known as long as I've been doing music.
Really?
And this is our first time really putting something up. We were like, it was just a matter of like, let's do something. It ain't that one though. Over the years, it ain't that one. It ain't that. This is it.
But that type of relationship where you could just like, that's your people, and you could go for years and years and years, and then when the
time was right
to work together and make music.
Perfect. You know, he got it. He understood it. Like we have some of the same tempos as far as music and sound and drive. And then just as a person, where he is spiritually and where he is in his energy, perfect. You know, like I'm at a space where I just don't have to run and chase anything anymore. And if I do, it always ends up terribly. So I kind of chose to not do that no more.
But that's interesting that you're aware of it. That if you go, okay, here's what we're chasing, and I'm specifically going to do something, and we got to put something out in February.
Terrible every time. Terrible every time. Like I run into real for real, like personal issues off of that stuff. Like, yo, what are you doing? Like, take a step back, relax. All they really want from you is really good music. You know, what are you chasing? Who are you who's telling you to chase that? Like, what are you doing? And listen to the people who are telling you to chase that. What are they doing?
I mean, but it's interesting because, you know, people are generally at like different places in their creative process. And I'm quite sure you didn't start out with that level of awareness of.
Oh, no, I had to learn.
Right. So you're going to cross paths with people that you have relationships with that are some that have already learned that and tried to put you on when you weren't ready for it.
Right.
And then now
I'm ready for it. I'm like, oh, I understand.
Right, but then you can see some people that you're like, all right, you're not there yet, but
that's fine.
You'll come to this realization.
Miss me also with the advice. I didn't ask you for it. But you know, it's like you said, it's a learning curve. It's a learning thing, man. Yeah.
All right, so Lovers Rock. The last time we talked, you know, you talked about this kind of being loosely based off of your parents' relationship, and you kind of explained a lot of that story.
Yeah. Back then.
But so now that the album is out and it's out there,
it feels so good, man. Listen, I was the closer and the more I got into the end of making this record, the more it started to feel super personal. You know, like I started to really look at the fact that I'm so blessed to even be able to tell the story of my parents, the fact that they got back together the way they did. And the fact that they're still together now and they're happy and, you know, and they're living and my mom looks bomb. You know, she did,
most importantly,
my mom looks wonderful for her age. You know, she's like 58 and she looked glorious. You know, like to me, it's just like, first of all, we don't crack. But then second of all, it's just like she's had 9 children. You know, she's had a storied life, a real journey of a life. And to me, it's just like it tells on your face and in your skin and in your person when you're, you know, when you really weather that. And you can't tell with my mom. You know, so it's a testament to love and it's a testament to her heart. And I just want to be like that kind of thing to a degree, although I want to live my life.
Yes. You want to be,
I don't want to do, I want to, you know, there's parts I want to pick and choose.
Maybe not 9 kids.
Not the 9 children. I would have had to been started. I'm straight. That's enough. We good. I like my body.
So then for people who didn't catch that the last time, can you give the short version of the story of your parents?
So my mom and dad met when I was a youngster, small child. No, I'm joking. They met when I was not born at all, and then they had me 9 months later, and then they had 2 other little girls, my little sisters. They broke up when I was 3. They got back together when I was 23, and they got married when I was 33.
So they had a 20-year break.
Not kind of by force, not by will. Different scenarios kind of, you know, separate them, and they were too young to know to do anything better, you know, to how to find their way back to each other. And they, you know, they eventually found their way back, but my mom was wholly married and like had to get a divorce and
whole new life,
whole new 5 other children, you know, like it was a whole other feeling, like we was over there, you know. But then she raised us to be smart and aware, and I was definitely the ballsy child who was like, so Ma, what are you about to do? Because we're all going to be gone and you're going to be here on your own with him. What do you want to do? You know, I didn't like my stepdad at all. You know, it's a different level of acceptance I have from now. But then I was like,
but as a kid, that's like, who's this guy? That's not my dad.
I mean, we try him, but he don't like us neither. You know.
Look, man, I could tell you don't like me. You could tell I don't like you.
I didn't know why, and I figured it out, and I have a lot more empathy for all sides. I knew that at 18, God, I was used as a vessel to be like, yo, what are you doing, lady? You know? And my mom was like, you know, when you said that to me, it punched me in the face, per se. And I had to get out, for real. And she did. And it was just a smooth, smooth transition. Not a smooth transition, but just like a reawakening for her. She looked visibly younger, happier, you know, in the years preceding. And so I'm just happy for them. And I just wanted to be honored to tell this story, but also to kind of personally break free from repeating what I saw as the patterns that she'd done in life and in love, because they weren't right. You know, I think you learn yourself in those teenage years and into your 20s, you learn what to actually do. You know, if it really gets deep, you learn it from a child, from like a baby. But when you start realizing you're doing the patterns is in your teenage years.
But at that point, you're old enough to consciously be aware of what you're observing and what you're around.
You know, if you're not around some woke parents, you're not conscious of it. You just do what you do. And then you hit an age where you're like, I keep making the same mistakes. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Let me figure this out. You know? And that's what I did in the process of this album. And I'm still kind of going through it, but it's fun.
You're still just a kid figuring it out?
You know, I'm a grown-ass woman figuring it out. I'm so nobody's child. I am my mother's child, but, you know, I'm definitely an adult out here, like trying to make sure I maintain my sense of responsibility and all of it, you know? Yeah, it's hard work. It's real work. It's real life, guys. It's real life, okay?
I know, this got so serious.
It did. Mad deep.
It's hard work.
Let's have a Red Bull break. Ooh.
It's hard work out here, being a grown-up and being responsible. And
I tried to tell people, don't grow up. It really is a trap. I don't know who lied to us, who told us it was going to be fun.
But I think these days, I don't think kids really move out of their parents' houses. I think that,
they can't afford to.
Right. So you're forced, so you're stuck there and you stay there.
Yeah.
We're just kind of at that cusp of like 17, 18. I'm like, I'm out of here as far and as fast as possible.
I ran. When I tell you, I ran to my cousin's house in Barking. I regretted it, but I ran. I definitely was
you regretted it, but you didn't turn around and go back because you're not that kind of person
not at all.
to admit that mistake when you're 17.
And when I went back, I was like 20 and I had just got on my deal and I was like, this is a failure. What am I doing? It just, like I stayed in the garage. It was that deep. Like, I'm not coming in the main house. I'm going to stay inside of the garage. We had garages in the hood, which is, I don't know. The garage is a garage. It's a garage, right? So,
I have a garage.
Yeah,
I'm in the hood.
Okay. So we had tricked out the garage. Not really, but just made it sleepable.
Livable.
Put a bed in there, and that's where I stayed for like a year. And then I was like, got my deal, worked my butt off, got my deal, and moved out. And I was like, bye guys, I'm going forever.
Okay, so you moved back into the garage, but you didn't go back into the main house.
I wouldn't do it.
Because that would have been the next step, was then you're back
in the main.
All right.
I wouldn't do it.
When you were in the garage, were you eating your mother's food that she cooked every night?
Nah, I was proud. Like, I wouldn't every night. Because there's some night, not every night. Sundays, yeah, because Sunday. But like, it wasn't, to me, it was like, no, go out and get your stuff. And then I'd be working, like ridiculous hours working, like 9 to 9, and then go out and do a gig and be home at like 4 a.m, get back up and be at work at 9, like for 2 years straight. Like before I moved back home, and then when I moved back home. And so it was rough. Like I have people wonder how I'm awake all the time. I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, I'm awake all the time.
I know. We go back tonight. Established 1980 Radio 1 rap show with Westwood. So I'm not gonna go too far into that because we just went so far over people's heads.
Right.
But that's how far back, and not even personally knowing each other, but that's certainly how far back my awareness of you and your music goes.
Exactly.
So we know the road.
You know, it's real life. It's not a game for me. This is like, I learned the independent rope. I learned the music. I feel and understand the music. This is not a game for me. When people see me, they're like, oh, she had the American Boy. And I'm like, no, I had a whole album and several others after it. You know, like I have fun. What's the word? Correcting people on Twitter. All
right. Okay. Hold on. No, because hold that thought. Because I actually do. I want to talk to you about American Boy, but that specific aspect of it. I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
We're not going
to do that. Yeah.
Right. We're not going to go the lights and the history of it. But I want to talk about that specific aspect of how people will always connect you to that. But first, I want to play something else off of this Lovers Rock album. Ooh. This one, Don't Wanna, featuring Cranium. Hey. Estelle is here. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
My name is Ricky Blaze. All right, let me say, the one that bar. It's time, featuring Cranium. Something brand new, people get used to it. Remember telling the man thing, man. Yo, show DJ Nuri dancing all the way every day. Listen, people, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Music for the ears. The thing, man, I love.
Just to run away. Don't wanna let it go. Why can't we let it go? Fire away, smoke in my face. Your vibe is crazy, calling a fade. It's just a phase, it's so amazing. Don't be so shady. I can't shots, I call my shot showdown. You wind your waist all over me, whoa now. Wind up, wind up. So with that, you set me up for the wind up. You pick the time, I pick the place, yeah. Hop in my ride, I give you space, yeah. Roll up, come through and show love.
Don't know what kind of spell you got over me, but I don't wanna let it go now. I don't wanna let it go now.
You wipe me up just to run away. Don't wanna let it go. Why can't we let it go?
Can you see me now, right in front of you? Feet on solid ground. Oh, what should I do? Your love makes me feel, so I push you away. Made this shit quite clear. I want you here with me.
You call your shots, I call my shot showdown. You wind your waist all over me, whoa now. Wind up, wind up. So with that, me set me up for the wind up. You pick the time, I pick the place, yeah. Hop in my ride, I give you space, yeah. Roll up, come through and show love.
Don't know what kind of spell you got over me, but I don't wanna let it go now. I don't wanna let it go now.
You wipe me up just to run away. Don't wanna let it go. Why can't we let it go?
That's Don't Wanna, Estelle featuring Cranium, produced by Ricky Blaze.
Yes.
So like literally, this is all of my family on one record. Like
Right, all at once.
This could have literally been like discussed about making this record in my backyard at a barbecue.
Pretty much.
So I love to see it because it's three super talented artists, three people that as people are just great people.
Good vibes.
So to see you guys all connected together,
It's a good time. I love all three. I mean, I love Cranium and I love Ricky Blaze. Like me and Ricky have known each other and of each other from when I first came out here.
really,
Ricky Blaze,
you know
yeah.
Ricky that
long. We met that long. He used to work with I think he still works with my old A&Rs, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
That's
of
where I
course.
know Ricky Blaze from. And then Cranium is just Cranium, ain't he? He's fun. He's good vibes. And he's himself. And he's cheeky. And he's cute. And he's he's a personality. And I like it.
He's a personality, and he's a real person,
A real human,
a
yeah.
real human,
Yeah.
and just like a really talented. Different type of, I'm gonna call him a reggae artist, but
Yes.
that's definitely too narrow of a description for him.
This isn't even, I wouldn't even call this a reggae beat or anything in the genre really more than it feels airy and just vibey, and he put his vibe on it, so he sounds so good and he sang it the way he sounds. He didn't change his energy or his vibe or say I'm gonna sing I don't know what kind of, you know what I mean. He sang he said you hype me up, like he sang it in his accent. He did it exactly how he does it, and I love that.
No, and it's interesting because I think a big part of what clicks and connects for him is the natural stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's got a real, just like innate sense of the natural Jamaican, raised in New York. So the things meet naturally. It doesn't feel forced. And there's a lot of access points for people who are not necessarily into dancehall or reggae or even understand patois to
get it.
To get it.
Yeah.
He's got a really interesting, and his R&B aesthetic is really interesting. Also, his songwriting aesthetic.
Gets it. It's like looking at someone who so when I come over here and I rap, people understand what I'm saying, but like I'm definitely rapping. They're like, oh, but she's doing the English accent, but it still sounds fly though. Okay, she good. It's like that when people would hear me on the first records that I came out with, and they were like, no, okay. So it's kind of like the same kind of thing to me, where it's like I'm still doing my thing, but you get it, you understand it, because it's culture, it's the music.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, that's just makes me happy to see and hear.
All the three of us.
Yeah, well,
It's
okay,
fine.
so now we went from serious to very happy and excited.
yeah.
All love. It's just a big love fest.
Yeah.
So what I said I wanted to talk about with with American Boy was, so you said you'll point out to people, that there's a whole album. But that song became such a big hit and of a level that it is a song
It's for the ages.
For the ages, and forever there are people who know you and everything that you've made since the rap days.
Yeah.
There are people who know you from Steven Universe, which I still want to discuss, and we're going to discuss in a minute.
Right.
There are people that know you from other things, and then there's a whole even bigger world of people that just know that,
which is glorious, man. Someone asked me like, "Oh, do you ever get sick of it?" I'm just like, "What? No, never. No, not at all." You have to understand, like when I pray to have records, I pray for records that change lives. You know, I'm blessed and lucky that God listens to me and loves me because He keeps giving me them. Just keeps giving me them. I make mistakes, I mess up, and He just keeps saying, "You good though, I got you." You know. So American Boy is one of them. On the earliest side, 1980s one. On the latest side, Thank You's another. Conquer is another. And to me, it's just like I just keep getting them, and I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, and I still get to live the life I want to live. But you know, I can go to the middle of Italy and I'm good.
Right? No,
I can go and sing this in the middle of Taiwan. I'm straight.
Right,
you know?
but you're at a good level where you can go buy your groceries.
That too. Well, by design and by force, though. I purposely live my life I will have a real life too, though. Way, you know what I mean? Like, because, good Lord. There was a point at time where it was almost like the tipping point where it was like, yeah, you're going to be you. Now you can't do nothing. And everybody was so excited for me to be in that space of not being able to be human. And I was like, well, this is mainly because you get to bank off of that. And I'm not playing these reindeer games with y'all people. I actually do want to go and do my shopping. Because I'm going to have a kid one day. And what the hell do I look like as a parent coming from a huge family? Imagine me taking my kid home to my mom, right? And my mom's like, so do they know how to clean a bathroom? And I'm then looking at me like, so you didn't teach them anything. No life skills. Because you have maids, because you have people that bank on you being completely untouchable and and you forget. What's muscle memory? You forget. Not saying you can't use the help, but you also have to maintain a sense of humanity and self. And to me, it's just like, I like to go grocery shopping. Like, these are things that remind me of home. I don't live with none of my family. Sorry.
I always think that it's weird. That's just like I'm not like super fascinated with crazy levels of celebrity, but like I've had my crosses with things like, obviously, like, you know this, and most people know this, like I DJ'd for Rihanna for years. And it was in the early years as things I was there till it got to like a super big level. So that's someone that like that I know, that I've like spent a bunch of years with. And I literally wonder, like,
how's she doing? She all right?
That too, but like, who gets the groceries? Like, how do you get like,
right.
when you want to make when you want to make a sandwich, like, do you ring a bell and someone makes you a sandwich?
Right? Things like that. You forget, and I don't know her ins and outs, but it got to that point where it was like, you don't do nothing but just be an artist, and I was like, all right, so before this, I had a whole life, and I just don't want to forget what that was like. I don't want it to be go back to that. But I don't want to forget, because it's another world that's not real. I can't live there for the rest of my life. I just won't. It's unrealistic.
Right, because but so then talking about the regular life, you've been involved in fashion, and designing, which is something that you've been involved in for a long time. Which I assume you would be involved in whether you were in music or not.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do extraordinary things, and I have a very personally regular life. But I do extraordinary things. I'm blessed to be able to live this extraordinary life and still maintain my ordinary. That's the quote.
Just a regular girl.
Regular, and to a point. I like my good shoes. I like my things. I like my stuff. I like, I'm smart about it. And there's a certain level of like, no, don't talk to me crazy.
No, but that's just like a normal person to person thing.
Exactly.
But we find ourselves out in a fair amount of similar places. Like even the last time you came and saw me DJ in Brooklyn, very quiet, very on the low. Yeah. And people always go,
hold on,
yo, is that Estelle? And they can just kind of look, because you're really just like your energy and your vibe is just like, I'm just here. Like there's no fuss. There's no bunch of people. And so then those people always feel comfortable enough to come say something.
And they to a degree, most of the time, I would say this, 98% of the time, people are respectful.
Yeah.
And you get that 1% where it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing too much, and there's no one around for you to perform for, bro. Like, sis, chill out, you know?
But,
like, and it's literally when we're in calm spaces where it's like, yo, who are you what are you doing? Like, relax. I'm talking to you. We good?
And but the people but the 98%, I invariably watch, like, come up, they get a big smile, they get a big hug, you take a picture, and people are always blown away by, like, oh my God, Estelle is so cool. Yeah. But it's also like, it's interesting that people expect
something else,
someone not to be cool. So it's more like a commentary on other people.
The way that society's told us that celebrities act and behave. I can't be responsible for knowing about myself, though.
And I'm trying to be more famous so I can just become a bigger asshole.
Meanwhile, no, don't get it twisted. There's days when I be like, I'm my first of all. But for the most part, like I said, 98% are very cool. And I think that's because of my energy and the things that I put out and the way I present myself and the way that they know me, aka social, right? But for the most part, they're good. Like, and then like I said, you get that 2% that just want to show up and do for their cameras what they think they need to do.
Well, that's the other thing I always forget about. People and the cameras. But it's funny. It was interesting. The last place where we were was a no cameras place.
It was.
Yeah. So there's actually a no
cameras,
no phones and cameras policy.
Who's out there breaking all the rules?
Oh, that's right. You had your file. But in general, it means that people aren't just like wildly like with phones out in the yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to blow you off like that.
No, you good. I didn't know. I didn't know. Now I know.
We won't be invited back.
Now I know. My bad. I had the time. I had fun. Like, this is the other part of me that people don't get and understand. I keep the culture first. I have to know and feel, especially when I'm making music, what I'm doing. I can't be in there like, I made this whole R&B album and don't know what R&B is out sounding like right now. I made this whole reggae dancehall album and don't know any reggae dancehall. You know, like, that doesn't make no damn sense. Like, what we doing here? Like, what's the plan?
Well, look, for people who don't know, I would never ever want anyone to make the mistake of thinking
they know
that Estelle does not know reggae and dancehall.
They know.
We'll find her out in the spot.
Really, in the back, like, red. Like,
even it was like 2 weeks ago. Even 2 weeks ago.
I was up. Look, I have a time wherever I go. This is my thing. Like, I feel like we get one of these lives. If you're standing up in the club when you're in a party and you feel in the mood, I'm not the girl that wants to stand in the corner. Like, I'm a wind my little two-step in the corner. Like, I'm just going to have my time. And then I'm going to go home. You know, like, that's how I live.
We're not worried about what anybody else is doing.
We don't care. That's cool. Enjoy it. Or come join. You know? But,
or come join. All right. I'm going to play something else off of the album because it just feels like you just make an album with like all of my whole family up and down, the whole thing. So again, it makes me feel good, makes me smile, makes me happy to play these on the radio.
Hey.
This one is Queen, Estelle featuring Chronix, Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
It's a queen, she used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead, cannot bow down. No, don't you just know you caress it. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. It's a queen, she used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead, cannot back down. No, don't you test it, know you caress it. If you is a king, then the king should respect you. If you're a man, you gotta know how to treat a beautiful woman I lead, and I don't follow. And these sayings are more than some bottles. I was born with a plan for tomorrow, and my days stay unfolding hollow. I'm a leader, and I don't know less. Everything I do is for the progress. It's more than you ever see. More when I walk in them streets. Real God, that sound I mean reign supreme. If you king, then you recognize queen. It's a queen, she used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead, cannot back down. No, don't you just know you caress it. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. It's a queen, she used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead, cannot back down. No, don't you test it, know you caress it. If you is a king, then the king should respect you.
Woman, real impression make the king feel happy. Real goddess, that's what she embodies. All she really needs is freedom spiritually. Wear the crown, now bow down to nobody. She's more than what you see in the magazines. Can't frighten her with Benz and Lamborghini.
Lamborghinis. I respect it longer than 10 limousines. More than just beautiful legs in those jeans. She's more and more than you ever see. She's more and when she walks in the streets, real goddess and she reigns supreme. If you're a real king, you know she's a
It's a queen. She used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead. Cannot back down. No, don't you just no Eucharist. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. It's a queen. She used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead. Cannot back down. No, don't you test it. No Eucharist. If you is a king, then the king should respect you.
You say, na 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 na, oh na 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 na. Real queens don't fall la la la. Are you the rasta man you want? Every day, na 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 na, oh na 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 na, girl. You a lead, you know fall la 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 la, no. Are you the rasta man you want?
It's a queen. She used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead. Cannot back down. No, don't you test it. No Eucharist. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. It's a queen. She used to wearing crowns. She gonna lead. Cannot back down. No, don't you test it. No Eucharist. If you is a king, then the king should respect you. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. If you are a king, then the king should respect you. My favorite.
And this play all the way to the end. There we go.
Let it go.
All right. So
Hey,
you guys had to be in the studio together and make that record
we did that together.
Because that type of
Vibe, energy.
a vibe and energy, and just the fact that it's not a guest verse from Chronix. That's a
Duet. It's a
yeah,
real song.
exactly. That's a proper duet, which is rare to hear these days.
Absolutely. He came in, he was on tour at the time, I think, doing some shows in LA. I was in New York we were in.
I feel like I was with you or him the day
before,
or
the
like
day,
around that, because someone said to me, "Oh, yeah, Estelle's here." One of you guys.
One of the days or something. And anyway, he came in and he was just, I was nervous. I was like, man, I don't even know what his vibe is. People had told me earlier, like, yo, so, he's this kind of artist. And I was like, man, I don't know if he's going to want to do this kind of record or, so played him this one and said, this is the one I want to do. I have this idea. And here's the other beat that I feel like he might like. And he was like, nah, let's go with that idea. I always want to do this kind of thing. Man, he let me rock. I put my verse down. And then he just went in and just did his, like, boom. Like, it was so easy. These are always the ones that touch people the most when it's quick, Because
it's natural. Because
Exactly.
you guys sat there and made, and it's interesting because in my experience, in knowing him for a while and working with him, is things that we would think would be a little off the beaten path or out of the ordinary for him, he tends to gravitate to. And because the way he creates is like that the challenge for him is like, oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Like in wanting to extend into
Other
different
genres.
lanes and genres and sounds.
Yep.
So,
But to me, like, listen, I heard this beat and I was like, the bass line. It's a reggae bass line to me. I don't know any other thing to do to it. It's the point we took the drums off because I was like, nah, the drums are making me feel like R&B and hip hop, and I don't want it.
so that initially had full.
It had
full
some
drums.
type of drums on
Yeah.
it, and we were like, mute the drums and run it with just the bass line. I was like, nah, the bass is really like, this is something that Khan or one of my other guys, one of the producer guys I work with, what he would play like that. My bass guy Lance would play this, and this would be like just the way it goes, doom, 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 like doom, doom. And it just reminded me of like being at the house and hearing like all of that, and that's what that reminds me of. So to me, that's just like pure bass. That's pure. That's reggae bass line. That's not I don't know what that R&B or nothing. So it made sense, and his voice is the right perfect pitch, the right tone. It just cuts through, You know?
And it's interesting because I wouldn't. You guys have both have very distinctive voices, and complement each other kind of perfectly. You really never know. It doesn't. Two great voices aren't necessarily
ever gonna work
going
all
to
the
sound
time.
great together. And the same way you and Cranium, Cranium has a totally different style of singing and sound of voice.
That one I had to work for the Cranium joint personally because I was like, man, I don't sing this area in my life. I don't know what this is. I sound like, don't know what kind of spell you got of me. I was out here like waving my head around in the studio like, don't want to let it go.
Lighting incense, dimming the lights.
No, I was in there like just pretending I was in Jamaica on the beach like, don't want to let it go.
But that's cool. But isn't it fun to then step out and try something new?
At the time, I wasn't in it. I was just like, this is all right, mad like wispy. Well, I don't sound like this. And the team were just like, try it. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And it sounded so good. I was like, all right, I guess we sound good. Keep it. And then when he got in there, I was like, no, perfect. You got to trust your team.
Well, yeah, because but interesting, like you have to do different things. Doing what you did on the record with Chronix is not going to work on the record with Cranium, and vice versa.
On the records in general, I had to do something. I had to fit each one. And that's the beauty of people don't understand when you say reggae or dancehall or whatever. It's like there's so many different subgenres and so many different styles and flavors and waves in that. It's so much to pull from. It's not just it's not just a hype. It's not just a super it's not the dub stuff. It's like there's so many different chambers you can go to.
And there's so many different elements that you can put into something that to me can be like, ooh, this has a reggae flavor. So without going like, okay, this is like a full on one drop, this, that, and the other thing. So you could sing something a certain way or a bass line that's
all over shine. I approached everything like I was doing a whole reggae album. All over shine. Like I was in with Clef and Jerry Wonder, and that's literally all we did for like 4 or 5 records. Like, yo, let's just do another reggae down. Let's just do another. You know that song? Right, let's try to do that one. And just to get us in the vibe sometimes. And then 2 of them made the cut, like Substitute Lover and So Much Out the Way made the album. And we were just vibing, we were messing about. Wasn't serious at all, So yeah, it's right.
All right, so now the real reason I brought you here.
Okay. Steven Universe.
Okay, so the last time we spoke, I think we touched on this briefly because I knew that this existed. Estelle voices is the voice of a character named Garnet on Steven Universe, which is an animated TV show.
Yes.
Which I knew was a big thing. I definitely did not know how big of a thing it was.
Oh yeah, true.
And because I know you, so I've always been like, oh yeah, this is cool. I've seen and heard more things about it, and I was actually telling Walter when I saw you guys the other night. I spend a lot of time listening to NPR in my car,
right?
Because there's so much music in my life and in here and at home and in clubs. So when I get in the car, I usually put on NPR,
right?
And All Things Considered was on with Terry Gross and the woman who created Steven Universe. Right. So this blew my mind.
Yeah.
How big, and not just how big the show is, but how important, like culturally, it is, and because of who she is, who the characters are, what the show is about.
Yeah.
That. So first talk about that and how you even got involved in it.
I got involved in for purely selfish reasons. When I was like 2012, I was in LA. Like, I want to do a cartoon. I'm starting out acting. I want to do a cartoon purely because I have nieces and nephews that are being born, and I want them to know my voice. Like, that was my back end reasoning, right? No jokes, real life. I was like, I want them to know what auntie sound like. And then they called me to test out for it. I was like, sure. I read about the character and I was like, let's see, follow my instinct and I follow my gut. And so we go through it, and I tested out for Amethyst, which is one of the other characters, and I tested out for Garnet. And Garnet's a character that's like the parent of all of the main parent, square mom of all of the gems. She kind of takes care of everybody and is the leader. She orders everyone around. I was like, that's not like a hard thing to like do. Personally, I'm like the oldest of 9 kids, and like
not a stretch.
Not stretch. I can relate. So that was easy for me to do. And then she said to me, do it in your voice. And so I did it in my she said, do it in your real sarcastic voice. And I was like, all right, bet. And I kind of was just speaking as myself. And she was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be perfect."
Right, because the character, there's not much affectation.
Not at all.
The character is
deadpan.
Your voice
is my voice, and to the point where when I speak up and I get excited and I go hi, people are like, "It's not really you," and then I'm just like, "Oh really? Word? It's not me." They're like, "Oh, it's you," and they push back and they're like, "Oh, it's you." But it to me is just the cartoon is just amazing. Like people walk up to me like, I wish we had this when I was younger. And especially people in the LGBTQIA community, they're like, I wish we had this when I was young. I was like, you have it now. It speaks to kids.
And so this is older people. And
These are older people.
That's the interesting thing that I was learning.
And it's not just that as a cartoon. It's everybody. It's everything. It teaches people how to just be calm, how to calm down, how to relate to each other as human beings, above gender, above sexuality, just important life lessons, the things that we kind of skipped in the past 10 years. It's like it's here to show us in the form of a cartoon, in the simplest way, how to be human by not being human, following the crystal gems. And it's just
by following cartoon
crystal gems.
How to be human.
Written by a whole human, though, a real human who is dealing with these things that she talks about in everyday life. And it's apt to me, it's admirable. It's like stuff that we do in music. She does it in cartoon. She writes the songs. This is no one else writing it. This is her. These are her. And I say to her, and I'm trying to work on an album with her now, Rebecca, because I just feel like she's one of the dopest songwriters, lyricists, melodies.
Wait, so she not only created the cartoon, writes the scripts, but also fully writes the songs.
The song "Stronger Than You," everyone thinks I wrote it, and I'm just like, that's nothing to do with me. They sent me the files, and I just sang it, guys.
Here's the words.
These are the words. Pretty much. She gives me creative liberty, and she asks me for advice. Hey, I want to write this kind of song. Who do you suggest? And I'm like, well, for instance, on the song called Mindful Meditation, Take a Moment, and in the episode, she asked me for like influences for a song. She said, I want to write something that's really calm for kids. And I was like, oh, well, you want to go listen to Emily King, and you want to go listen to this artist and Feist and just kind of catch that wave. And so she did. And so when you hear the song, exactly, Emily King, Feist, you know exactly what she's coming from. And so we talk like that because she respects me as a musician too. So I'm grateful to be able to feed, but I let people who are doing their thing do their thing. I'm not the person that's like, oh, and let me write it. That's your baby. Do your thing. Though I did get to write some on the new film that's coming, the new movie.
Okay, so, all right, so we didn't even get to, but this is where I'm trying to go of like how big this is. It's like the movie is coming.
Yeah.
But so this started off as very much, what network is it on?
It's on Cartoon Network.
It's on Cartoon Network. So it started off as something that was very unlike any other programming on Cartoon Network, very unlike any other, kids, young adult programming.
Yeah.
So it was certainly not like, hey, this is a guaranteed home run. This is a smash. We're going to be around 4, 5, 6, 8 seasons. So when you guys started it, you were there from the beginning.
From the beginning, like I would go to Comic-Cons and it'd be just me and the people who are legacy at NBC and CBS and those TV shows, and it would just be me. Like the one black girl there. Like who else was there at Comic-Con like 6, 7 years ago? Like exactly, we're looking in the air. But like it would be the legacy, legacy actors and actresses. And now it's like it's just opened the cartoon and the inclusion. It's just opened all the doors. I have all my friends that are like coming up. I went up to Comic-Con this year, and they're hitting me like, "So you up here? Yeah, girl, I did my stuff. I'm headed back down. It's my first time. I've been there for 6 years. What are you saying?"
Okay, so how many seasons are you guys into the show?
We're about 6 seasons in, 5, 6. I can't call it at this point. They just roll, and I hate to watch them. To like listen to myself back because I get weirded out a little bit. But
it's weird because you're listening to yourself. Yeah. So one, as an actor or an actress, watching yourself has got to be weird.
Strange.
But then listening to your voice come out of an animated
being or something that's like, well, that's not my physical but that's how the character was. So let it be,
Right.
It's like let it be. It's
so
baby.
Right. So you've been going Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So it started off, it's no one there. You're just going.
You just go.
Cartoon Network is sending you to promote this new show, right? So what happens now?
We just keep going. Like so, this last year we worked on the movie, and that was the biggest secret I've ever had to keep. in my life next to making this album. Because even with the album, you can post a picture, say like, "Oh, I'm in the studio."
So who would have ever thought a cartoon movie would be the biggest secret you ever had to keep in your life?
Keep in my life.
Like it's a real, like there's like contracts and NDAs and
people out here now like, so when's the movie coming? I can't say nothing. I just know, all I can say is what you know, the movie's coming.
That's it. You have already said
here go the
what
screen,
you can
guys.
say.
This is all I can say. Like, here go the screen, guys. You saw the gems. They turned. We good.
Okay, but like this is what I'm talking about this. This is of a level where people that you don't know in any way, shape, or form are like, yo, what's up with the movie? What happens in the, like, people come up, people are trying to get info from you.
And I'm here like, no, I can't say. This tea is wonderful. Look at the sky. It's so blue. Look at this Red Bull is great. All day, this is me.
And you just want
dodging,
but you've got to want to talk about it.
I do, but then also, I make a point to not kind of commit it to memory when I've done the job, so I don't slip. I don't read the scripts before until I get in the studio. Then I just run through, and then as I leave the scripts in the studio. To make sure that I don't slip. To make sure, because we're artists, we retain. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I ain't messing that up because it's such a good, beautiful cartoon, and it's such a great moment, and people really live their lives by this now. There's a whole generation that's kind of grown up watching Steven Universe. If you were 4 and you were watching it, you're now 10. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain part of that that's part of your life.
And it's continuing, and like you said, there's the movie coming, and you know, it seems like it's only getting bigger. This is not something that's
so good
wrapping up. I mean, did you imagine in any way when you're auditioning for an animated Cartoon Network series that this would be, even where we are now, 6 years later in your life, such a huge part of your career?
No, this is a testament to doing things for love and not having to follow and run behind anything. When I did it, I feel like my agents were kind of like, just we got to have a cartoon, get off our backs.
Because you were really like, get me a cartoon.
I want a cartoon, guys. And so, none of us kind of expected it more than I was like, no, I think it'd be big. I have a feeling about this. And then didn't think anything of it. Went to work, we did our thing, and the first Comic-Con we turned up to, these kids were lining up like 2 nights before down the street. I was like,
okay, so you're not like a comic book nerd. This was you were not experienced with Comic-Con before.
This is my first Comic-Con. I was like, what is happening? So what do I do now? Like, guys, where do we go? Where do we walk? What's happening? Like, they're really lining up. Is this real?
You're like, it's like, do we perform? No.
Do I sing?
You just sit there, right?
And they lose their mortal minds, but you've seen the evolving. You've seen them. It's just such a beautiful space for them to be able to be in. I'm glad to be able to play my part with it. Like, it's all the other actresses, Dee Dee, Michaela, and Zach, who plays Steven. And we watched Zach grow up.
How old was he when he started this show?
I feel like he was like 10, wasn't he like 10 or like 11?
I mean,
11?
So 10 or 11 to 16, 17 is a huge difference.
But like, he literally went from here to here. He's like out here with his boots, and he's out here now, and he's like got girlfriends, and we're just like, oh, look at you in these streets. Like, it's
look
crazy.
at you, the mom again.
I know
of the whole
it's
operation.
It's natural. It's really real. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, that's got to be something cool to have, just to know that that's like a continuing thing going on. And then you also spend the last 3 years in this other lane of the
my comfort zone,
the real life world, making lovers rock.
Yeah. I am. Every time I look at my life, I feel like I am supremely blessed to live the way I want to live, and to, don't get twisted. It's hard sometimes. Like, it's really like, there's moments of self-doubt. There's all that stuff, but man, every time I look at the ups, it's just like, oof, I take it. They were hard. Them downs were hard, but these ups are glorious.
We're good.
Yeah, we're
here.
good. I'll take it. This will be all right. Yeah.
All right, well, it's about time. Play one more off of this Lovers Rock album right now. This one is just a classic and a favorite of the show. The last time you were here, Taurus Riley was here with you.
My love.
Full of vibes, full of energy, full of jokes. And this is the one that set it off, started this process, and rang the alarm and let the world know that this Lovers Rock album is coming. This one is Love Like Ours. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
He's smiling, and that's because of me. He's happy, I want the world to see. We're living wondering honestly, how could you not see that we are in love? How could you be talking to talk that stuff? After all this time, now your feelings tough. But don't hate on us, on us. Looks like you need a love like us. Then you would know how it feels. Looks like you need a love like us. You need some happiness still. Looks like you need a love like us. You need some happiness for real. Looks like you need a love like us. You need some happiness still. You need a love, love like our own, yeah. Love, love like ours. You need a love, love like our own, yeah. Don't hate on us.
She's smiling, all because of I. Yeah, yours truly keeps us smiling. Hey, you know you had your chance to love her. It's not my fault. They say love is a gamble. Well, you lost. How could you not love all the way we live? Trying to break everything we built. But can't stop a love so chill. Don't hate on us, no. Looks like you need a love like ours. Then you would know how it feels. Looks like you need a love like ours. You need some happiness still. Looks like you need a love like ours. You need some happiness for real. Looks like you need a love like ours. Don't hate on us. You need a love, love like our own, yeah. Love, love like ours. You need a love, love like our own, yeah. My girlfriend better than you, where they can't understand it. I know they really can't stand it. She give me love in the morning and in the evening, anytime it can happen. Now you give me the vibe. Oh yes, you got me feeling alive, girl. And we don't have to try. That's why I love her.
That's why I love her.
Looks like you need a love like us. Then you would know how it feels. Looks like you need a love like us. You need some happiness still. Looks like you need a love like us. You need some happiness for real. Looks like you need a love like us. Don't hate on us, no. You need a love, love like our own, yeah. Love, love like us. You need a love, love like our own, yeah.
Don't hate on us, on us.
You see that bass line? Hey. I feel like I was a sound person in my old days, in my former life. Hey.
All right. So how does your mom feel about that one?
She loves it. My mom and dad be like, yes, that's us. Maybe hype in their souls. Yes, that sounds like me and your dad. It's crazy. And my mom is like the most West Indian African I know. Like, lady, she switches accents. It's wonderful. It's glorious. It's glorious.
And I mean, I guess we should bring this up because we talked about it the last time. But so explain your background.
So my mom is from West Africa. My dad is from West Indies. So Grenada, Trinidad, and my dad's side. And my mom is from Senegal, Sierra Leone.
And raised in London,
raised
of
in
course.
London, yeah, and I'm raised in London.
So that's a whole African,
whole mix up,
West Indian melting pot of things.
We're out here. Yeah, it's real. Like you go home and you hear like and Makosa, and then you go to school and you're like Wham and Duran and like Yaz and Karen Wheeler. Like it's all confusing.
And then you become a rapper.
Things like that.
And then and then the first thing you do is like, move out of your house and become a rapper.
It makes no sense. No sense.
Yes, perfect sense. Way early on the wave of UK rap.
Absolutely.
By the way.
Absolutely. Like early. People like look at me now, it's crazy. I feel like when I first came out, people were like, yeah, I know you're a rapper. And now 10 years later, I'm like, you know, I started as a rapper. They're like, really?
Right, like, the whole thing. Right at first, like when American Boy came out, all the people that knew you from before that were like,
why are you singing?
Yo,
like,
you're a rapper.
First of all, I was singing all over all my albums. Oh, it's just the most frustrating thing to explain. And cut to now, everyone sing, raps, DJ, do whatever.
Right, and they're like, wait, you rap?
Yeah, like, yes, bro, like, stop. Oh my God, it's crazy. I do music. That's That's been my thing for 10 years. I do music. Let it be.
And cartoon voices.
That part, darling. Yes.
So any is there any other animated
Well,
voices in your future?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. We're developing and working on different. This is the other side of the things I get to do, because I take so long. Developing different TV series and animation series as well. So like, I have a production company, EST, in 1980 Films. And so we're developing and working with other writers who do that kind of thing. And I'm working on just trying to bring more people of color into the animation space. So when I go Comic-Con, it is more of purely us up there kind of thing. But also just to give our stories. There's some really funny, to me, internet writers and people who write stories online that just deserve the shot. And sometimes it's not TV or live action. Sometimes it's animation,
Right. And so in doing that, in doing Steven Universe, that obviously has to have opened up the doors and opened up your eyes to the ability, like that has to have provided opportunities in this lane of stuff.
Absolutely. People like, on top of doing that, I've sang the theme tune for We Bare Bears. I wrote and sang the theme tune for We Bare Bears and other in the Cartoon Network. I do features like crazy on different cartoons. OKKO, we did a crossover episode. And so it's loads of those different moments where I get to spread out and I get to be, a part of that. But then also going to the cons and meeting the fans and just people engage me in a different way now. It's not just purely that singer that sang that song. It's like, and she does this. She's value in this space too,
Okay, this is the part of this that I almost forgot to bring up. No, but is that, so now there's a whole world of people that know you
as Garnet.
Only as the voice of Garnet.
And the good thing is I get to introduce them to the music. And then some of their parents are like, nah, she sings. I know her. And they're like, my mom put me onto your music. Oh my goodness. And I'm just like, bruh, this is strange. But
so that's like the awesome ultimate thing is like to connect that.
Yeah.
And so there's all these young kids that are like,
they cross the barriers. They know what it is. And they're respectful again. They're like online like, I can just see you singing this in Garnet voice. Like, every time I hear American Boy, I hear it in Garnet voice. So every time I hear Better, I'm like, I see Garnet body rolling. I'm like, oh gosh.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, the visual.
Little kids discovering American Boy for the first time
and
as a result of you being the voice of an animated character.
Exactly. God is so good to me. It's perfect.
You could have never imagined.
Never. God is so good. I'm grateful. I really am, man. Yeah.
So you just bring them in, and I know we talked about this another time of sort of now when you go do shows, depending on where you are, you kind of always give a shout to kind of gauge what the crowd is made up of.
Yeah. And the kids show up. The babies will show up for Steven Universe and adults. Like, where's my Steven Universe fans? Woo! I'm just like, so you're 30-something. All right, there you go. You're an adult.
Okay, so how far into Steven Universe did that start happening? Or did you realize enough to be like
2 years ago. 2 years ago. So I do my regular shows and then I do like concerts and whatnot. And I do like pride events and they're everywhere. Steven Universe fans are everywhere. Like I've had to stop shows and really sing the theme song a cappella and they sing along. It's unrealistic. Like, okay, well, that's what we're doing now.
So in the middle, so that's really interesting. So then in the middle of an Estelle concert of all this music we've been making all over the years, you get to stop
the record. We're going to sing Stronger Than You now, guys. And then we're going to go back to the record. Like, no, it's so serious. Like, it happens. It's fun. It's good times.
Well, tell them to tune in and check and get ready for Lovers Rock because it's out now.
They know. Come on. You guys know what it is. Just go on the stream away. Batches.
All right. So now we're going to do what we always do on this show.
Let me see what I got. Come on.
Ready?
I'm ready, I think. Let me see if I can't do this.
What do you mean see if you can? We know you can. Come on.
All right, let's go. A shame. Hey baby, every time I hear your name, oh the pain, baby, how it hurts me inside. 'Cause every time we meet, we play hide and seek. you do? Yeah. Would you turn me away? Baby, I need some time to consider if I'm to accept your offer. I don't want to make the wrong decision. Oh, I'm afraid we got to understand. I think we should both think it over. Yeah. Do we really want each other like we think we do? Think we'd be better if we just keep it like it is. Yeah. Keep it like it is. Yeah. We should just keep it like it is. Yeah. We should just keep it like it is. It's my little tribute to Louisa Markham, Janet Kay.
All right. So that was Estelle in a lover's rock style and fashion.
All right.
So we want to give them the other side of Estelle real quick.
All right, come on, let's try it. Oh, goodness. Who you caught in a... Can I curse? All right, here you go. Who you calling a bitch? Who you calling a bitch? Not me. Listen. Here's a little story, and it goes like this. Watch out how you call me. I'm not your bitch. Can't believe you stepped to me like I'm a idiot. I'm a queen, and when I'm beaming, you should see me. When you see her, you believe she on the thing she fire. I ain't your bitch, baby, baby, baby. 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 I ain't your bitch, baby. Ooh, oh, oh. Listen, I said, I am royal richness. I'm solid gold. Treat me like your assets. I am your soul. Can't believe you stepped to me like I'm a idiot. I'm a queen, and when you see me, I'm the thing she fire. When you see her, you should be there. You believe she fire. I ain't your bitch, baby, baby, baby. 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 Cause I ain't out here righteous. Ooh, it get me tight, cause I've been on that flight shit all my life. Fuck boys always try shit. You were not invited. I've been on that flight shit all my life. I ain't your bitch, baby, baby, baby. 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 Pretty much. I like that one. Keep that one.
Yeah. Well, so that one actually goes perfectly with Queen, the record with you and Chronics
exactly.
as well. So
and they were written at the same time, so
to give you a little different flavor with some of the same subject matter.
Yeah, it's vibes, man. Like, look, this whole album has been like point for point, everything that I've been through, everything that I've lived through, everything that I've essentially had to face in my life. You know what I mean? And to me, it's just like the most frustrating thing in the world when you walk in a room as a business owner and as a woman that's doing her own thing, to kind of be told, like, who do you think you are?
Still happens?
Oh, it never stops. I know women that are way more powerful, that are more than me, who still get that question. They're like, oh, okay, I guess she thinks she's... It's like, but she is. What's the question here? I don't understand what's happening, you know? So, like, to me, this is kind of my simpler and more jump up way of being like, fuck you, though.
I mean, it was interesting because, I've been in some places with you, with some very powerful and independent and talented and creative women. That tends to be the circle of people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah. I don't know how to do what's the word? I don't know how to do women who disempower themselves. And if they are around, this is like a level you gotta kind of keep with me and the people I'm around. Like, we don't talk down about ourselves, and if we do, it's more to learn than it is to pull ourselves down, to be self-deprecating for no reason. You know, all my friends know, like, they walk up and be like, yo, I guess, and I'm like, no, you're doing. You know, say good things about yourself around me. You know, so I try. You know, I try to live by what I say and not saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. We're done. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to say after that.
There you go.
Once again, Estelle, always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Lovely. Good to see you always.
Lovers Rock is out now. We're going to finish up with one more off of it. This is probably the most Lovers Rock thing off of the Lovers Rock album. We're going to finish it up with one more. Say goodbye and thank you to Estelle.
Thank you.
This one is Lights Out. You are in tune to the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.